Welcome, everyone, to our weekly Torah class of learning and inspiring. We always like to start off with giving because how we give, that's how Hashem will give to us. Let's give generously so Hashem can and will give us generously. I'm going to put a coin in the tzedakah box. Please join me from home. We're going to start off with Tehillim, Psalms Chaf, which is Kapitel Chaf, Psalm 20, for the merit for all the hostages to come home immediately and for the protection of all the Jewish people around the whole world and for everyone to heal and for Mashiach to come. So please join me. Lam Natseach Mizmar LeDavid Yancha Adonai B'Yom Tzara. Yisagevcha Shem Elahei Akav Yishlach Ezracha Mikadesh. Umitzian Yisadecha Yizkar Kol Min Chaysecha Ve'elascha Yidash Nesela. Yitain Lacha Chalvavevcha V'chol Tzascha Yimalei. Naranana B'Shua Secha V'Shem Eloheinu Nidgal Yimalei Adonai Kol Mishal Secha. Ata Yadaiti Ki Ashia Adonai Mishicha Yanehu Mishmei Kachai B'Gvorei Seishai Minai. Ela v'recha v'ela v'susima anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu naskir. Hema karu v'nafalu v'anachnu kamnu b'nisaydad. Adonai Hashia hamelach yaninu b'yan karenu. The Tzemach Tzedek said, if we only knew the power of Tehillim, we would say it day and night. So we're dedicating this class to some of my dear friends who need a refuah shalema: Chani Yenta Rivka Bashindel, Yosef ben Devor Leah, Yosef Yitzchak ben Bela, Razel Bas Hadas, Rafal Chayimer ben Sima Chasha, Yosef Shlomo ben Risha, Devor Leah Bas Yafa Liba, Gershon Le ben Menucha, and Esther Bela Bas Yehudis Chana. We're also dedicating this class in merit, and Shalom Dover and Rachel Bela. We're also dedicating this class to a dear friend who passed away this week, who was a big supporter of this class and a friend of this class and came on every single week, and unfortunately passed away to a terrible disease. And may Hashem just send her back with the coming of Mashiach, and she's very missed. She's also a very special person. We're going to honor her name, Chana Bela Bas Nechama Fish Bas. Let me just check the name. I'm sorry. Her name is Chana Bela Bas Shleima Fishel Hakayin Alav Shalom. May Hashem send Mashiach immediately. We're also dedicating this class in memory of my dear grandmother, Rivka Dina Bas Yosef Yehuda. I hope you're proud. Chaim Dov ben Betzalel. To save a life is saving a world, and he saved many in the Soviet Union. Bela Bas Betzalel, my grandmother, who passed away this year, and Sanya Zahara Bas David. And for all the IDF. So this class, I'm so excited because it's a story that happened a few months ago in May. And I have with us two of my dear friends, Meirav and Ella, on today. And I'm going to share with you a story. So it was a Friday, and I'm dedicating this class in honor of my birthday this week, Beis Shvat, and in honor of my grandfather's birthday, Beis Shvat, Shimon ben Mishalom Yeshaya Zusha. May his neshama have the highest aliyah. We share a birthday, and I'm really proud that I get to share my birthday with him. And yeah, the birthday is a day that God decided the world cannot exist without you. So I really try to live by that. This is a story that I was so proud of that happened. It really was from upstairs. It was a very unusual story, and I'm excited to share it with you. So it was Friday afternoon, and I wasn't eating at home, and I was supposed to go to my mom and dad for a Shabbat meal, which was so special always to go to them. And my husband's birthday was that week, and his friend's birthday was that week, and I was invited to someone's birthday evening. And it happened to be that Friday afternoon. My husband turned to me. He had a small procedure, and he goes, I actually really want to spend the birthday with my friends, if it's possible to just rearrange Friday night with your parents. So I said, sure. But I also don't like to be a guest. And I already said no to this invite. So I had to re-invite myself. So I called him up and I'm like, hey, is it okay if we still come for Shabbos? And she said, of course. She was so excited. But I don't know why. I was like, I guess I was born hungry. So I decided to make this bunch of Shabbos food, Shabbos food, which I don't usually do if I'm not eating at home. And I made this specific dish, which we're going to show now, an eggplant dish with meat. And I decided last minute, it's actually really good. It it, it it's awesome. But I decided I needed parsley for it, which is also unusual for me. I'm not someone that cooks with herbs, and I'm walking down Eastern Parkway towards the store, and it's in Crown Heights. We're very blessed. The stores are open late. So it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Friday. And I see these two ladies asking someone for advice. And this weekend was a special weekend. It was called Chabad in the Heights, JLI, amazing weekend where people come from all around the world. Their shluchim bring them, and they get to experience what Crown Heights is like in under 40, like less than 3 days. They come in Thursday night and leave Sunday, and they go from like tours of Crown Heights, and they get to eat this amazing stuff. And I see these two amazing women on the street corner. This story, we took this picture a little later. We're going to keep this picture up while I'm saying the story. And basically, they're asking me if they're asking someone what neighborhood this is. And I figured they're from the JLI. So I said, "Excuse me, are you part of the JLI weekend?" And they said, "No." So I said, "Okay, how could I help you?" And they said that they went to there's a hotel in Crown Heights called Ashel, and they went there and it was booked out. And they decided that they want to stay for Shabbat. Their uncle um, told them that they should really come and check out Crown Heights because they felt that he felt like it was such a special experience for him when the Rebbe, he had the merit to meet the Rebbe many times and had a very close relationship with the Rebbe. He wanted his niece and great niece to come check it out. So while I'm trying to help them find, I had an idea. My mom has this like place that like a rental that she rents out. And I messaged my husband. Again, I told you he had a small procedure that day. And I'm like, can we rent it out? And I asked them how many nights, and they said one night. And he said it's really 2 or 3 minimum nights, so it's not going to work. In the meantime, I'm checking out this app, okay, which is apartments for rent, and trying to get them a place to stay. Message them. A couple of people are messaging me back. They all want to know like for what. And while I'm doing this, we're just going to take down the picture. We took a selfie. This is us. While I'm doing this, trying to help them, they were very grateful. They didn't have Wi-Fi. They had no idea. Um, I had this like weird intuition voice in my head that said, invite them to your house for Shabbos. And it happened 3 times. A thought, invite them to your house for Shabbos. I had no idea where this came from. Invite them to your house for Shabbos. Now, okay, so I'm looking at them. I'm not saying anything to them. I didn't tell them that I'm having this thought. I messaged my husband because of course you have to ask your husband first. And I'm going to give you a little background. I don't love having sleeping guests in my house for Shabbos. Okay, so if it's hard for me. It's on the same floor that I sleep. We share the same sleeping space. So it's not something that I would say is something that I'm great at, okay? Like everyone has their struggles, so that was mine. And my husband, if it was up to my husband, we would have a revolving door every single day, morning, night, and noon. And I messaged him. I'm like, "Hi, Izzy, how are you?" So I met these two people, and I know that you said that the Airbnb is not available, but can I invite them to our house for Shabbos? And he messaged me back like this for sleeping. And he wrote, "Huh?" And then he wrote, "Are you okay? Dot, dot, dot." Because he knows that it's really out of my character to do this. Okay. Um, so I wrote yes. And I think he was so curious that he's like, "Okay, dot, dot, dot," which is also an unusual response because like for him it would be so exciting. But okay. So I turned to these ladies, strangers at that moment, and I said, "I want to invite you to my home for Shabbos." So they look at me, and Mirav says to me, "How much?" So I look at her and I'm like, "Listen, if you're going to be my guest for Shabbos, there's no charge." She's trying to argue. I'm like, "Listen, like, I know you want to come for Shabbat, but I'm not taking money. So you're going to make a choice right now, like either yes or no." And they were both had tears in their eyes, and it was just beyond. And I brought them home to my house for Shabbos. And I already had, like I said, I started cooking and making all these dishes. So I had cauliflower, I had a lot of different things, and it turns out they're vegan. So I ran to the store to buy even more stuff that they can have. And I left them in the bedroom. I was so excited to tell them about the YouTube channel that we have. Little did I know they actually checked it out because they probably also thought, like, where am I? Who's this girl? Like, is this safe for us? Because it was both out of our comfort zone to do this. So I bring them home, I show them their room. Thank God it was all done. It was like it looked picture perfect that day. So I was so happy. And okay. So I went into our room, and my husband like whispers to me, he's like, "Are we okay?" Like he couldn't believe that I did this, and he was a little bit like nervous about this. He was, and I said, "Yeah, it's great." And he goes, "Where are they eating for Shabbos?" And I'm like, "No, like they'll figure it out." Like to me, you guys were strangers if they're. And basically I asked them why they wanted to come for Shabbos, and they told me about their uncle, and they'll say why they ended up here. They weren't planning on coming for Shabbos, otherwise they would have had their stuff. They barely had their stuff. Meirav went to the store to buy a dress, and I didn't really click that they didn't have enough stuff. I would have offered them more things, but it just didn't click. And then my husband's like, "You need to invite them to our meal for Shabbat." So I was like, "Is he like, it's fine?" He's like, "No, no, no." But if anyone knows me, I'm the most uncomfortable person to call people up and ask to invite guests with me for Shabbat. Like as it is, I don't like to be a guest. Like it's hard for me. It's not in my nature to do that. So I went out of my comfort zone because I knew I didn't have a choice. My husband's like, "There are guests. We're going to take care of them." I call up my friend Connie, and I'm like, "Hey, is it okay? I have two surprise guests. Can they come for Shabbat?" Of course, we're so excited to meet them. It's going to be amazing. And I was like, phew. And then I was like, thank God I canceled with my parents for Shabbat, because like these ladies are vegan. Everything my mom makes is not vegan. Potato kugel has eggs in it. Their chicken soup, her baba ganoush has mayonnaise in it. Like her salad has mayo. I mean, it's really good, but like her challah has, we this is the part where I'm going to give it over to Ella and to Meirav to say their part of the story, because they're coming to a complete stranger's home, and then we're going to continue the conversation. So Meirav and Ella, you can unmute.
Um, I'll share a little bit from my perspective of the story. When we came to Chabad, we were talking about
תחבורה
staying
חלש,
in New
לולי.
York. What'd you say? It's a
שומעים אותך
little.
מאוד חלש.
Oh, okay. Can you guys hear me better?
Yeah.
Perfect. When we came to New York, we said, okay, the first thing we want to make sure we're doing, no matter what, is going to see the rabbi. And if we'll feel like it, maybe we'll stay in New York, New York for a night.
You
Uh,
wanted to come see 770,
yes, we
where
want
all the magic happened, where your uncle saw everything.
all the magic, and we said, okay, this is the first thing that we're definitely gonna make sure we're doing in New York. And if we'll feel like it, maybe we'll go into the city and have an experience there for the next day. But the second that we got there and we got to do the whole ceremony of opening the letters and everything like that, there was a person there who told us, you guys have to stay for Shabbat. You have to stay for Shabbat. You came all this way. You made sure that you'll come see 770. You guys have to stay. And we said, okay, we're gonna start looking around what we can do to stay here. She told us there's an inn, Eshel, down the road. Just go ask there, start there. And we're starting to ask, and no one has any room, and whoever has room has, it's a lot of money, but we say, okay, it's probably worth it. If she said it's so important to stay, it's probably important to stay. So we're starting asking around, and then we find this angel on the street. I'm gonna let you, Mom, chime in as well.
What?
I'm gonna let you speak as well. I don't wanna.
No, no, speak. You will say your story, I will say my story. It's okay.
And then we find this angel, and you can see that she's kind of checking us out as she's helping us. She was so willing to help really fast, but you can really see that she's checking us out a little bit. She's like, okay, let's see who are those people. And I didn't think that she's checking us out because she's gonna offer to house us. I thought that she's just checking us out because she has people that she cares about, and she's gonna offer that will stay in their facilities and stuff like that. So she want to make sure that we're okay people. But the moment that I saw how loving and nice she is to us, I felt very safe and very happy with the idea of coming to stay with them. And I really appreciate it. We just started having those tears because we felt, okay, if it is something that we should do, if it's God's be, then it's gonna work out. And if not, we're gonna either go back to Philadelphia or go to New York. New York will be okay. But if we're really meant to stay here for Shabbat, it's gonna work out.
My turn?
Hold up. Yes.
Okay. So I went to New York, I went to Philadelphia, I went to Boston. All this trip to the USA, I live in Israel, and all the trip to USA was my lovely daughter graduating from Berkeley in the music therapy section, and it was very, very, very exciting. And then she moved a place, and we had to organize everything. And we have left only 3 days. I had only 3 days in the USA, and we said, what we're going to do with these days? And the first thing we said, we have to go to the rabbi. After that, maybe we'll stay in New York, maybe we will go back. We don't really know what we're going to do. And so we took, I think, maybe one pair of everything. It was very, very small bag, and we couldn't really. I didn't thought we are going to stay, but I said maybe we will go and then come back. We will see. But since the 7th of October, I started keeping Shabbos, and I didn't want not to keep the Shabbat. And then, but I was with my daughter, and it was the 3 days, last days of the journey, and I wanted her to have fun before she's going to work very hard because she was going to her internship. So I was in conflict because deep in my soul, I wanted to keep the Shabbos, but the situation wasn't allowing it. So I said, never mind, go with the flow. And then we came to the 77, and this woman says, you have to stay. And I felt like God is guiding me. I need to keep this Shabbos. And then I said, if I will find a place to stay in, so I need to keep this Shabbos. I can't stop all the months that I did. And then we started looking for places, and we were standing in the middle of the street. Really doesn't know what to do because we're gonna stay, we're not gonna stay, we don't really have stuff, and where we're gonna stay. And then we met this amazing woman. She really wanted to help us. And then she just said, do you want to come to my house? And I was, first, I thought we're gonna, because her mother said she has an Airbnb, so I thought maybe she wants to do this also. So I said, okay. But then she said, no, you're gonna be my guests. And in that moment, I just felt the rabbi guidance, because we were in the 77, and we felt, you open
So
the
just to clarify, 770 building.
770.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always confusing. So we were in the 770, and you open the books and you feel like, the rabbi knows you. When you read, when you ask the question and you get his answer, you feel the rabbi really knows you. And I was very connected to the rabbi. There was a period in my life that I was very connected to a lot of rabbis. I could see the rabbi. I could see Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes. I could see the Arzil. I could see them. I was meditating and I could really see them. And sometimes I could understand messages that they send me through, when you're meditating, you can really sometimes really understand what they say. And when I was teaching groups.
And this is like, you've never like really connected to these rabbis. You just have this gift.
Yeah, yeah. I grew up as a Chilonit, but I was always looking.
Could you explain to us, for those that don't know, what a chilanit is? Like,
Yeah, well, my family, my grandmother was very religious, and two of my uncles are keeping all the mitzvahs, and the other sisters are not keeping all the mitzvahs, but they do. We don't keep Shabbos, but we fast on Yom Kippur, and we do all the Pesach, we eat only matzahs and things like this. It calls Masoratim. It's not religious, but it's Masorati. It's between not doing anything and religious. It's in the middle. So we are in the middle. And I was always, my mother was lighting Shabbos candles every year Friday, and we were all gathering together to be together on Fridays. But it's not like we're keeping Shabbos and going to the synagogue every Saturday or Friday. But I was very connected since I was 20. I was looking for the way, and I wanted the guidance if I should be religious, totally religious. And on this way, I was always getting a bit of more guidance, a bit of more guidance, a bit of more guidance. And once when I met a very interesting woman, that she was a woman that she was connecting energetically, not religiously, energetically. And we were meditating and we were connecting. And while she taught us to connect to the angels. You know, in Kriyat Shema, we have the four angels that you can invite and ask them for help. And we were working with this. When I was meditating, it was a Jewish meditation because it was always connecting to the angels and to the higher force. And we were connecting by this. And while I was working with the people and I was guiding them to be connected to the angels, to ask from Hashem, I was kind of realizing that I have this gift of being able to see. And when I had groups and I was teaching them meditation, the rabbis used to come and give guidance. Sometimes the rabbi says, I'm gonna be. They were connecting to the people, you know. They were connecting.
So you're very spiritual. You're like a very
Yeah.
spiritual person. So you're okay. So basically, okay, let's go back to the story for a minute.
I was back a long time before this meeting. I was very connected to the rabbi and to all the rabbis. And then, you know, while you passed away, when you guide people, you feel like you need to take care of others. That's what I felt anyway. That I was always taking care of others. And my connection, I think, it was strong, but I wasn't keeping it all the time. I was more to the others. And then and it was okay because everything was good with me and everything was flowing. It was great. And then I got into a very, very difficult situation after the 7th of October, and a bit before. I had a very, very rough situation in my life, period. And I felt not connected enough. I felt like I'm not guided enough. I felt like I'm not in the place. I don't know really where to go and what to do. And then we went to the Rebbe, and then I met her.
Well, when you say you went to the Rebbe, you went to 770 where everything, all the magic happened, and then you opened. When I just want to clarify for those of you that are listening, because not everyone understands. When you say that you opened up the books and you got answers, basically the Rebbe compiled all of the letters that he sent to people. It's called the Igros HaKodesh, and it's letters that a tzaddik wrote, and you opened up this book, and when you opened it up, you read a letter that he wrote to someone else, and it really connected to you. You felt like it was giving you an answer. So everyone connects in their own way to tzaddikim, and some people connect like that, and you happen to connect like that, and you got such a clear cut answer from reading a letter that he wrote to someone. He compiled all these letters, and anything that tzaddik says is like really holy and special. So we're very lucky we have these letters. And it's just a lot of inspiration. These letters are inspiration to, you get to see like in the eyes of a tzaddik. It wasn't just like a lecture, but it was actual letters that he wrote to people um, years ago that came to him with problems. And the responses that he wrote, he put it in these svarim, which is called Igros HaKodesh. And now we have all these letters to get inspiration from.
So when you open this, when you ask a question and you open this Igrot Kodesh, you just feel like you know that the answer was meant to another person, but when you read it, it just was meant to you, because all the answers that you need are just, you get them from this open Igrot. So I opened it, and all the answers that I had, I needed for all this period that I didn't really know the way, just everything clicked. And I felt so connected, and I felt home again. Okay. And then we went out and I saw this amazing woman, and then she said, stay. And I said, okay, I have to keep the Shabbos. I have to keep the Shabbos.
And
And then
I have no idea that she's thinking these things, like that she
no, of
about Shabbat.
course, of course. And then we met her in the middle of the street, don't know what to do. And then she came, and it was just the continuation of the guidance that we got from the 770. And then she was, and we couldn't say no, because I felt so guided in this moment. She was, she was the shlucha, that she came to guide us into this Shabbos.
So
And we came.
I just want to say something very funny. Right before I was on the phone with my sister, and I'm like, I don't know if I hung up, but I'm like, I just met these people, and I invited them for Shabbos, and she also said, "Are you okay?" Because they also know that like it's really not my style to do this. Like I don't just take people off the street. Next thing I know, my mom's calling me. Hi, Chaya, I heard you had a guest for Shabbos. Like, is everything okay with you? Now, I was brought up in a home that like, it was like a revolving door. Also, when the Rebbe was here with us, my parents had an open house. They had every kind of guest that came to them that wanted to come and be with the Rebbe, and close to the Rebbe and to hear his the Farbrengens. So, my parents grew up on Eastern Parkway, so I grew up on Eastern Parkway, and they would stay there. So our house was always full of people. So it wasn't unusual for me, but it was unusual for me to do it in my own house. Like it's not the usual kind of story. So, Meirav and Ella goes to I said they wanted to buy some extra stuff like a dress. You guys were dressed beautifully, but like you wanted to dress more modestly, I guess, for the Crown Heights. So you want to buy a dress. And when you came back, you guys brought me a gift, and I was so touched. I was like, wow, these people are really special. Like, they're not just like takers. They're like, it's so nice when you go to someone's house. Like, I was brought up when you go to someone's house, you bring something. It doesn't have to be a lot. You bring something, a bottle of wine. Like, even my grandmother, even when she came to like my sister's house, she always brought something. Like, it's the right thing to do, to bring something small, like a gesture. You know what I mean? It could be a note, it could be a Shabbat Shalom, it could be a candy, it could be you didn't just buy me something, you bought me a beautiful gift, and I was just like blown away. I'm like, this, and then I said to myself, this is going to be such an interesting Shabbos. Like, I felt very like God was running the show. I was like, this is like literally from the skies, like it's min hashamayim. Like, I was like, what is happening? My husband's like, all okay. So when you guys went out, I met with you guys and I showed you exactly where we're going to eat. It was by the Rabashkin residence, and it was the most special meal. So now we're going to hear from you guys. Oh, wait, before we go there, I just want to say right before Shabbat, I messaged Shandy Jacobson, my meshpia for the class, and she also runs many departments of JLI, the Rosh Chodesh Society, and she runs, she's incredible. So I messaged her and I'm like, hi, you're not going to believe it. I have these two surprise guests. Now, she's my mashpia for the class, so she knows my struggles and she knows what I'm comfortable with and what I'm not. So she knew there's something more to the story, because she knows that my style is not to have 100 people staying in my house. Like, it's just not my style, like on bunk beds. It has to be done like very orderly and organically and make sense in my head before I have, I would never have a random person stay in my house, like strangers. It's actually like you have to be careful. They might be like not safe. So I sent her a message. I'm like, hi, I know there's a JLI weekend going on. And obviously I wasn't looking to like invite you guys to the whole event because like we didn't pay for it. And if you don't pay for it, I wouldn't ask for that. But I said to her, what do you think if I send them for the Farbrengen, which a Farbrengen is a Hasidic gathering. And she sent me a message right before Shabbat. She goes, not only should you send them, you should come as well. So we went to the Farbrengen, but now we're going to go to the meal. How we're going to hear from Ella how you felt at the meal Friday night.
So, first of all, meeting everyone was an incredible experience because you see those people and they're all really, really truly are kind people. Genuine people, kind, loving people. You could really see that this area that is connected to the rabbi, everyone that are connected to the rabbi, are really great, really caring, really loving people. That you can only wonder like how much of their connection to the Shem and to the rabbi is influencing what wonderful people they are. And it was a really great experience on that end. I did feel a little bit like we found something for my mom really, really fast before Shabbat started, and we were looking for something for me to wear, but there was like 2 seconds. They kept the place open for us for 2 seconds more before they had to go to start getting prepared for Shabbat as well. And we couldn't find anything my size that was like, and when you're trying to do it really fast, and I was like, okay, I'll be okay. I'm also relatively
And
young.
I feel really bad now because I would have given you something to wear earlier, but yeah.
No, I didn't even think about it. But after that dinner, Chaya actually thought, I have this dress. I never wear it. It's
Well,
really,
let me tell you what happened though. Okay, so Friday night you guys went to shul. You came for the meal. It was the most amazing meal. It didn't feel like you guys were guests. It felt like we were like family. Like I didn't feel like, oh, I'm bringing two people with me. I have to entertain them. Like it just flowed so beautifully. It was special, and they had insanely amounts of vegan food for you. Like my friend Khani,
really good too.
she made. Yeah, we there were so many options. Every type of salad was there, but like healthy. Like they cook very, very healthy. So like you guys had so much to choose from, and you were like crazy about the sourdough, and it was just like so good. Okay, so the next day comes and I went for a walk. On the way back, I meet Mayrov. She's coming back from shul and she goes, oh, I left a little early. I didn't stay for the whole thing. I'm like, oh, you're my kind of girl. I also can't sit still in shul for so long. Like we're making conversation. And then I'm like, hey, where's Ella? She goes, oh, she didn't come to shul. And a thought went into my head and I'm like, oh my God, maybe she wasn't comfortable because I remember last night she went to shul in pants. And of course, I'm not the type of person to change people. I accept everyone for who they are. And I was like, maybe she wasn't comfortable because in Crown Heights, no one dresses in pants to shul. It's not the usual thing to do. Maybe she was uncomfortable. So I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna offer her a dress. And it happens to be that I had this amazing brand new dress hanging in my closet that was her size. And I said to her, I'm like, I want to gift you this dress. Would you want it? And she goes, I'm not taking a dress for you from you. And I was like, no, 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 listen. If I tell you you're taking a dress for me, you're taking a dress for me. Now I never knew I had this in me to be so like controlling, but I was like, listen, I want to gift it to you. You'll always remember your Shabbat in Crown Heights with this dress. You'll have this dress always. It will be your modest dress. Now, I didn't tell her that I offered her this dress, but then I also realized, like, oh my God, she didn't have enough clothing. Like, it didn't click. Like, hey, like, they didn't come with so much clothing. They had like two little bags, but I had no idea what was inside. I wasn't going to ask. Like, the whole story was just like out of a movie. Okay. It was like not the norm. And she looked at me and she's like, sure. And she put it on and she looked beautiful. I just asked her before this class, I'm like, I'm just curious. Did you not go to shul to 770 that day because you were uncomfortable because you had pants? And she goes, yes. So I was like, wow, my intuition is correct.
Very strong.
We had a beautiful, beautiful day. We go to the JLI for bring in. We come back. We wanted to go for do so much more, but like it was just a busy day. Great. We took a little nap and we met up right at 4 o'clock for this Farbrengen in Lubavitch Yeshiva with Shane D. Jacobson and some other amazing people. Also Aliza, she's also a friend of ours from this class, Aliza Scheinfeld. She was also sharing at the Farbrengen, and we were sitting there, and I knew this was their first Farbrengen, and then I saw my dear friend from Crown Heights. She is the founder of JLI. And I went over to her and I was so excited with the story. And I was like, okay, you're not going to believe it. You see these two people? They're my surprise guest. And like, I was just so proud of myself because it was so out of my it was not, it was like, I never did this before. And I'm telling her, I'm like, oh my God. And they're inspired. And like, thank you so much for letting us come. And she goes, Chaya, I feel so terrible. I wanted to tell you about the JLI. I'm like, you don't have to invite me to the JLI. I'm not part of JLI. Guys, I just wanted to tell you, I'm not pitching JLI. I don't work for JLI. Straight up. But she was like so nice, and she goes, Chaya, bring them to the Farbrengen tonight. Bring them to the Malava Malka in Oli Torah. They'll really enjoy it. And the way she invited us, I was like, okay, maybe. So I asked them, and they said, we'd love to go. So I was a little conflicted. So I went to my friend, Bella Rabashkin. We went there for Havdalah. It was amazing. And we all connected, my husband and them. We were all friends. And I turned to Bella and I said, what do you think about, like, I feel like maybe I should give them a hands-on experience, but like, I don't think I could do both. To go to the OHEL, my husband wasn't able to drive us because, like I said, he had a small procedure that day. So someone offered from our friends to drive us. And she said, of course, the hands-on experience. So I said, guys, like, we're going to go to the Ohel at a different time. They've never been to the Ohel. The Ohel is where the resting place of the Rebbe and the previous Rebbe is. And it's a very holy place to go and ask for anything that you need and want. It's going to Tzaddik, literally. And I really recommend, if you haven't been to the Ohel, you should try to go because it's just an amazing place to go, like, unburden what's on your heart and just to ask for blessings for you and your families. Um, so I say to them, I was like, okay, we're gonna go to this Farbrengen, and they were so excited. And we were walking home, and Ella went into the house, and Meirav turned to me and she goes, my daughter had such an inspiring Shabbat here that she wants to start keeping Shabbos. And I had like tears in my eyes, and I'm like, imagine I ignored that voice, invite them to your house for Shabbos. I would have missed this opportunity to have this mitzvah part like that. I got this mitzvah. So we're going to hear from Ella now, how you felt about the Shabbat, and we're gonna do the follow up after where it took you, but just right after we talk about the Farbrengen and we went to. But if you could tell us like your thought process of the Shabbat, like, like even washing for bread was like new to you guys. Like I showed you how to wash for bread. I was like, we go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. We wipe our hands, we say a blessing. And I was just like, wow, like such an opportunity I would have missed if I would have ignored that voice and say, hey, it's not my problem, because so many of times we say it's not our problem, but when a mitzvah comes your way, don't turn it away. So Ella, let's hear from you.
I think for me, first of all, coming to 770 was a very powerful experience. And keep in mind, this was something that I wanted to do for my mom. She was the one who was interested in it, but I wasn't. I always read Tikkun Klali and the morning prayer, but this was the extent of how I'm connected to religion. I wasn't interested in keeping Shabbat beforehand. I wasn't interested in all of those aspects of religion. I was always connecting to the angels through meditation and stuff like that, being my mom's daughter. But I think that for me, it was seeing the people. It was getting to get such incredible answers from the rabbi, and then seeing people like Chaya who have so much kindness and love in them, and seeing the people in the dinner that all of them are just down to earth, really caring people, really loving people, very modest, very just like amazing people. And I told myself, if being connected this way leads you to finding this good in you and leads you to be able to connect to yourself to this level and connect to people and being giving and loving to this level, I want to experience that too. I want to do the steps that are going to take me there. And I think it was the connection of being away from my phone and really experiencing the experience and hearing this amazing upbringing, and just being a part of a really wonderful community, even if it's just for 2 days, that it made me feel like there's so much power there, and I have to find my way of incorporating that into my life because I want to be able to be this kind of person. I'm so inspired by the way that they act and the way that they care about each other. And if the Torah has anything to do with that, I want to be a part of the Torah too.
I think that, if we want, before we said what is Chiloni. Chiloni is just like every, you don't really, the difference between Chiloni and religions in Israel is that the Chilonis are taking care of themselves. And the religious people, they grew up with values that says, try to be good. The Chiloni, they mostly try to succeed as much as they can, no matter what. And the religious people, they want to succeed by being good. And this is the values that I was always looking for. These are the values that I try to be the most good person that I can. I always looked for the way to be a better person. And that's what I teach my daughters to be as much as they can, as good as they can. And but around us, we had a lot of takers, and the rules of the rule of attraction. When you're a giver, you will find takers, and when you're a taker, you will find the givers, because it's connect, it attracts one the other. So basically, most of my life, I was a giver, and then I was attracting takers. And in that period of time that I was struggling before coming to the rabbi, I was a bit fed up of takers. And I was looking for good people, and I said, maybe maybe there's no good in life, maybe I'm looking all my life for these good people that I'm doing the best I can to be, and maybe there are not none. And then we met these amazing people in Crown Heights. And it started while we were walking on the streets. We wanted to buy dresses, and we wanted to buy a gift for Chaya. And we were walking in the streets, and people were talking Hebrew to us, like they knew we're from Israel. It was just, they were connected to know that they can address us in Hebrew, and it was amazing. And we felt everyone around the streets are trying to help us. It's not like we never found good people in Israel. There's a lot of good people in Israel, and a lot of the time you can feel that people want to help you, but in that period of time, we really needed it, because we had a lot of experiences with takers. And then we were walking down the streets, and it was like feeling a family in the street in New York, And then we went to the Rabashkin. It was Chaya before, and then walking in the streets, and then we went to the Rabashkins, and it's such a giving family. They have long tables that everyone comes and eat, and they do it with such big love, and we amazed, immediately we're connected like a family. When you see good, you connect to the good, and we were connecting from our souls. We felt that we are similar. We felt that we came from a similar source, and it was so connecting, and it was so warming to us to see these good people. And I said to myself, I'm going to leave everything, and I'm going to move to Crown Heights. I want to live with these people.
And
That was my
I said, Meirav, it was just one Shabbos. You can't move to Crown Heights yet. Just come visit.
And Ella wanted, it was so inspiring to know that there is good in life, and very, very good can come back to you. When you're good, good will come back to you eventually. And it was very important to us to feel, and that for me in this period of time, and for my little daughter, it was inspiring for all her way into life. I think that due to this experience, she will have a very, very religious home, which is very important to me. that she will raise her kids in a religious way, and she will get more and more information about the religious way of life and go in this path. I think it's the best gift I could ever give to her, but basically Chaya gave it to her. So we were blessed in this meeting, and I will go to the next part, which
Okay,
was
so
amazing.
yeah, so here goes. It's actually mind-blowing, and then you'll hear from them and from me. Okay. So we went to Havdalah by Betsy Rabashkin and Yassi Rabashkin, and it was really special. She gave them necklaces, beautiful necklaces with Magen Davids. She's very into the hostages. I mean, we all are, but like she takes it to the next level. She has like the hostages pictures of them lighting. She has all the hostages pictures near her, and then she has a chayal lighting Shabbat candles. Um, and it's just
She did this amazing thing. She had pictures of a soldier lighting candles, Shabbat candles,
I'm
but
gonna bring it while you speak.
yeah, she did it because she wanted people to remember. We always say that we want to bless the soldiers, but a lot of time we forget. We forgot to do it. So she said, "I'm doing these pictures that will remind everyone when they stand in front of the candles, they will remember to pray for the host for the
So
soldiers."
so this is the picture.
So this is the pictures, and I have it in my salon since then.
She's lighting Shabbat candles. I don't think you can see it so clearly, but
Yeah, you can see it now.
it's just the phone. Hold on.
I will bring mine. I will bring mine.
Here we go. Yeah, bring yours. We never know whose, prayers Hashem's going to answer, and we should continue to see the hostages coming home.
You can see it?
Yeah. Put it a little further back. Beautiful. So I also had that by my Shabbat candles when I light Shabbat candles. Okay, so we go to this Malava Malka. There is a room full of people. So we're going to ask Ella to pull up the video of the room full of people so everyone could visualize it. Okay, and there's a Rebbe video playing on the screen. And we're like blown away. We're like, wow, this is amazing. The energy in the room was beyond. And we're watching the videos. It was probably a 3-minute clip total. The Rebbe started out and the whole room was in laughter. Someone came and he said he's giving a certain amount to tzedakah, to Chabad movement. And the Rebbe said, that's it. And everyone knew, like the Rebbe knew that this man could give more, and the whole room burst out in laughter. The whole room was hysterically laughing. All of a sudden, we're going to pull up a video now of something that incredible happened. Give us a moment. And Mayrav turns to me and she says, Mayrav turns to me and she goes, that's my uncle. And I was like, I got chills on my arms, okay? And I was like, okay, this whole weekend was not by chance. Like the uncle wants them to come to Crown Heights to see 770 to experience what he did when he was here, when the Rebbe was here physically with us. And here we are at this JLI event. From that 4-minute clip, or maybe 3-minute clip, it was a very short clip. Who's going past the Rebbe? Mayrav's uncle and Ella's great uncle. So we're going to hear from Mayrav and Ella what they felt at that moment.
Okay, so we get into this amazing room, and it was really amazing place. A lot of people, but we weren't everyone bought a ticket, and we weren't. We were invited by the last minute. And immediately we came in, everyone was very, very, very caring. And immediately they gave us chairs and we felt, we weren't standing in the corner. It was like immediately we're connected to everything. And I was just sitting and then I'm heading my head in front. I'm just looking ahead and I see my uncle, and it was unbelievable. Unbelievable experience. How come my uncle is there? No, it's a picture from, I think, his 30s, and he's now almost 80. So it was really, really old picture. It was him, his wife, and his daughter. And it was mind-blowing. And then, everything so clicked, like it was so connected and it was so guided from above. And everything was just, you feel like the Rebbe is hosting you in his home and doing everything to make you feel like he's with you. And from that moment, after this Shabbos, my older daughter was connected to him, and she got a new job, and she had a huge picture of the rabbi in front of her, and she pictured it to me, and it was the rabbis came with us all the way and guided us for a long, long time afterwards. And then when Easy and I was telling this story to my family. We had an uncle's meeting. My mother passed away, and my uncle is my mother a brother.
Brother.
And all the brothers and sisters comes to my father's every couple of months, 2 months, they come to visit my father because they really love him. And so whenever we have this gathering, sometimes the nieces come, sometimes not, only the uncles are there. So I was coming to this gathering of the uncles, and I said this, I told them this amazing story that we had. And then my uncle had the privilege to, because he was very modest, all my family started to understand how connected he was with the rabbi. And he was very, very connected to the rabbi, but no one really knew how much because he was never talking about it. So I think it was very rewarding to him too, to be able that everyone will know how amazing he is, and what amazing connection he was with the Rebbe. And then when Easy and Chaya were in Israel, we met together, all the four of us, and it was a continuation of this amazing experience because I feel like Chaya is my sister. We were sitting there, and my uncle and Chaya and Izzy, we were just connected like a family. It was no embarrassment of new people connecting, nothing. It was immediately this connection like a family, because we are all Jews and we are so connected. And when you are connected to the higher forces, you are connected inside. Everyone feels this connection. So
So I want to just go back for 1 minute after the evenings. I want you to continue what you're saying, but after the evening, when I saw your uncle on the screen and you're like, "That's my uncle," I said, "Okay, this is not by chance. I'm taking them to the OHEL." So we took an Uber and we went to the OHEL. And I would love for you to hear from you. We took I couldn't find the pictures. I have it somewhere on my phone, but it really happened. It was about we went at like 12:30 a.m. to the OHEL, or 1 a.m. we got there. And I want to hear from Ella and you how you felt. I felt really good that I was able to like do both in one night. I wasn't planning on taking you guys to the OHEL after that, but because your uncle was on the screen, I was like, and that minute after I saw your uncle on the screen, I'm like, I have to meet this man. There's something about him. I must meet him. So I'll tell you about the meeting after my perspective, but I want to hear from you guys' perspective of the OL. But before we do, Ella, could you put the picture up by the JLI of us, all of us, there's a selfie of us by the JLI? And thank you so much for
1 second.
Okay, so this is us by the event. You could see our big smiles on our faces. We were having the best time. This is after we saw the video of their incredible uncle, and yeah, cherish these pictures. And Mayrob is wearing that beautiful dog tag that Bella gave her. Okay, so let's continue. So you guys go to the OHEL. Let's hear from you.
First of
So
all,
Ella, back to you.
for me, coming, everything that we got to experience was just more and more and more on top of what you already didn't expect to be able to be even experiencing. For me, just coming to 770 to begin with was the first wow. And then you come and meet those people and you get invited to dinners, and first of all Chaya, and then you get from her making us food right away in the, when we get there, and then the meal, and then you go to the JLI, and then you go to the even bigger JLI. Like every experience that I had was just like, you feel like you've gotten the best of everything you could experience right now, and you're even getting more than that, and it just keeps getting mind-blowing by what you get to experience right now and how wonderful and giving Chaya really was to us, really trying to make sure that we'll experience as much as we can in this experience. And coming to the OHEL was definitely one of the things that we wanted to do in the US in general. When we were looking for 770, we were looking and we weren't sure if 770 is 770 and if the oil is the oil. We were trying to figure out where we need to go when we were even coming to New York. And we said one day we'll go there too. And because we were so happy with so many things that we were getting, we weren't even expecting to get any of it. The last thing that we had in our head is like, oh yeah, and we have to make sure to go to the OHEL. We didn't even think in any way that this would happen in this trip. But Chaya was really insisting. She said, listen, I want to make sure we had such a wonderful weekend here together. We had such a wonderful Shabbos. I want to take you guys to the OHEL. And we felt very honored that we get to be in 770 and in the OHEL, which are the two places that we were really hoping to be able to see in the US. And we didn't know when else my mom would come, but we knew that this is something that we'll do one day. So it was really an amazing experience to be able to go there and to write letters again and talk and kind of have our own conversations in private when praying over there. It was really an experience that I don't think I would have experienced anything similar to that outside of there. And I don't think that I would have understood how much I want to connect to it. I'll share, after we're done with the story, I'll share a little bit of where this took me after. But I think that this was a very pivotal moment for me in how much I connect to religion today and how much I'm still feeling guided by the rabbi. So I think that just from getting so much that you didn't even know that you're going to be able to get, and feeling blessed for every second throughout that weekend, that last moment was really, I think that was one of the most important experiences we could have gotten.
Yeah, definitely. It really wasn't, I felt very uncomfortable because, you know, we have these two amazing people that invited us to their home. And then we had all these amazing experiences, and we went to the JLI convention, and it was just, everything was so much, really, up to here, you know. And then she said, we're gonna go. And I said, no, it's so late, you know, it's very late. I can't ask her to do this. And she said, we're gonna go, we have to do it, you have to be there. And she was amazing, wanting to give wherever she can and do the, you know, it was working day, the day after, I think, but it really didn't matter to her. She said, I'm gonna give them whatever they need. They were guided to be there, to be here, and I'm gonna give them whatever they need. And it was just a blessing from the sky. And all the being in the hall, we felt very, very, very privileged to be able to be there. And it's an amazing experience to be able to write what you want and to send it to the rabbi and to see the rabbi and the other rabbi. It just was, it was wow, really wow, everything. So we can never say thank you enough to Chaya and Easy, and we can never say thank you enough to the Rebbe and to the Hashem for this experience. It was very, very, very expiring, and just, it will always be in our heart, and it had a very big effect on our life. And it's all because of Chaya that decided to listen to her intuition. And maybe, it's all
Yeah.
because of everything.
But I want to say, more than intuition, it was definitely a voice from above, because I heard this voice invite them to your house for Shabbos. It wasn't one time, it wasn't two times, it was three times. So, and I told you guys, I was like, disclosure, I probably wouldn't do this again, right? I told you that. Don't tell everyone that.
Don't
So this,
tell everyone that don't tell anyone that it happens, because it's not going to happen again.
it's true. It was like a once in a
But
lifetime
whenever she will
experience.
guide it to do something, she will do it.
So that's that. Okay. So let me just share a couple of cool things. Firstly, I want to share that ever since I met Mayrav and Ella, I've been in touch with them. Of course, I send them the classes that we do weekly, like, and they listen and they love it. And then I've been also sending Mayrav my aunt Tanya class recordings, which we spoke about, like the Tanya class with all the girls, which we're soon going to put it out on podcast format. It's going to go out and I'm going to share it with the whole world. And I didn't know this, but Mayrav was sending the podcast of my aunt's Tanya classes to Ella. So if you could tell us a little bit about that, because you were fascinated by Tanya.
Would you like me to start or my mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Me. So I didn't know anything about Tanya before coming to Shabbat, and when we were getting ready for dinner, we were talking in the living room in Chaya's and Izzy's place, and she started just telling us a little bit about what Tanya is and what it is, what does that mean, um, and that she has her family member who is doing those lessons. And the more I started to hear about Tanya, my mom said, "Oh yes, Tanya is something that I want to learn for a while." And I think, Mom, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the messages that you got from the rabbi is that you should start learning Tanya as well
In group, yeah.
in
To
group.
connect to a group of Tanya learning, yeah.
Um, so with having all of this information, I was like, okay, those recordings are important. I should try and listen to them. And every time I listen, I just feel like I'm getting messages. I'm getting those lessons that I feel like just like when you open the letters in the Gota Kodesh and you're getting answers that you didn't know that this is what you need, but here's the answer for you. I feel like I'm getting those kind of messages from the Tanya classes as well. Every time that I really needed some chizuk, something to help me go through something that I was afraid of, those lessons actually gave me those answers and helped me connect more to my own journey. One of those lessons, I remember I just applied to grad schools lately, and I was very, very afraid of doing that. It was something that I really was uncomfortable with thinking about doing, and I was really scared of it. And one of those lessons, she's saying very clear that Hashem's message is whatever it is you feel like is the most uncomfortable thing for you to do right now, the thing that you just feel like your biggest struggle, it's exactly what Hashem wants you to do. And when I heard that message in the Tanya lesson, I was like, okay, I have no choice. I don't care how afraid I am, I'm going to do it because this is what Hashem wants me to do. If I'm scared of it, it means that it needs to happen. And it still has a huge impact on my life. Every time I get one of those recordings, I find a time, it's an hour and a half, an hour sometimes, and I'll find a time and I'll listen to them because I know how wonderful and how big the answers that I'm gonna get are, and how much I'm gonna learn about good virtues from those lessons.
Amazing. I can say that this affecting this a class that affected her really affects her life, because I can say what happened to you afterwards. So say it.
I'm not sure which one you're gonna talk about, so I can.
That you got into this
Oh,
program.
it's yeah, but
Yeah.
it's really helping me. It's really helping me throughout my life, definitely.
Okay. Um, so I was more than once told by people that connected to the Chabad community, you talk like you know Tanya, you speak Tanya. That's what I heard. A lot of time people say to me, you speak Tanya, you speak Tanya. And I said, I don't know Tanya. So I'm glad to know that I speak the right things. Um, and all the time people tell me, you have to learn Tanya because you really speak Tanya. And then when I got the opportunity to get these amazing classes with Chaya's aunt, I just felt like everything connects. All my knowledge, all the years, the knowledge that I got, and this knowledge from the Tanya is just connecting, and there is only one way. Because I felt like this was the way that I was going all my life through this way, but I didn't know that I was guiding from this way. And now I can tell that I feel like Chabadnikit, I feel connected to the Chabad way, and I think this is the path that I was guided. My soul was connected to it from the beginning, and now I know what is my connection. So it's amazing. It's really
Wow.
amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing. You never know by sharing one thing how it could really, I didn't know you were opening it up in the beginning. Next thing I know, Ella's listening to it too. I'm sure you sent it out to many other people. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool. So when you have something good, don't keep it for yourself, share it.
And my
So,
older daughter is also getting it and listening to it when she
wow.
can. Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's go to so Izzy and I, like, he turned to me after Shabbat and he was like, "Wow." And then after Shabbat he goes, "What does she do for a living?" And I'm like, "I don't know. We didn't. I just want to say like something about me. Like I don't care what people do for a living. I care who people are." So I was laughing with Izzy. I'm like, "I guess we'll have to ask her. Like I don't know." And Izzy was just very blown away by the Shabbos. He's like, "I wasn't on my A game, but like, wow, like, thank you." And it was just really incredible. He really is a partner with me. Like this wouldn't have happened without him. Like if he, because he could have totally said like you're crazy, because and say no, like 100%. I probably would have said no to him if he asked me if strangers could have stayed in our house. I would have been like, Izzy, like absolutely not. I know that I would have said that, but basically I just want to say this. We were scheduled to go to Israel that summer. And I told my Rav, like, I just want you to know, like, this is not over. We're going to stay friends. Like, we are now friends that are like family. It's true. And so we go to Israel, and like, she thought, like, we don't know how to get around. She's very cute. She wanted to make us a whole schedule, but it turned out that we were like really busy, thank God. And we met up in a hotel that we were staying at, and she came first and it was amazing. We had the best time. We were like sisterly love, just having so much fun. And then um, her uncle came, and it was such an amazing experience. He came with like a case, and in it there were about 15 pictures of the Rebbe in big. They were like 8 by 10s, I believe, or right, they were like big pictures. um, and he was showing it to us. He only speaks Hebrew, but we connected right away. My husband, thank God, speaks Hebrew, and my Rav speaks Hebrew, so they were translating, like they were my translator. And it was the most beautiful, beautiful experience. And it was unbelievable. The pictures that he had, that he showed us, I don't think they're published, but I've never seen the Rebbe smile at someone like that. Okay. And I've seen the Rebbe smile. The Rebbe, the way he's smiling at your uncle, it was a connection like no other. And your uncle mentioned a few things to me, and he said that, just amazing. We might have to do a follow-up with him with a translator, but he had the merit to be close to the Rebbe, and the Rebbe gave him a lot of love and attention like he did for everyone, but there was something extra special with your uncle. There's no question. I have it in my mind. So we're going to pull up the picture of our meeting with your uncle and Izzy and I. Okay, so now we're going to show the picture of myself and Meirav and my husband Izzy, my dear husband Izzy, and Meirav's uncle, who we met in the hotel. It was really special, and he didn't want me to take pictures of his pictures, but maybe one day he'll share those pictures with me. But they were magnificent. So thanks for sharing this picture. And then I just wanted to share that Meirav a few I would say like a month, probably like 2 months ago, came to Crown Heights. Out of the blue, she's like, "Are you busy?" And I'm like, "Actually not." And she's like, "Could you come with me to get a mezuzah?
Ella, it was her.
Could you get me to come for a mezuzah?" So Ella, could you share the picture of us outside outside on the street, um, of you coming?
Yeah.
It was amazing. Okay, that's incredible. And okay. Now, Ella, we're going to turn back to you because you wanted to share a couple of words about this weekend.
So for me, what happened after that weekend is that it really opened the gate for me to be connected to the Chabad community. And I lived in Boston for 3 years, and I moved to Philadelphia without knowing anyone. I moved for an internship at a hospital, and I was very, very scared of that process. And the moment I got to see the people in Shabbat and see the kindness that people have and experience people like Chaya and Izzy, um, I realized that I have to be connected to Chabad. I have to find my way to connect to Chabad. And now here in Philly, I am connected to 3 different shuls, and specifically I'm connected to Mamash Chabad, which is a wonderful Philly-based Chabad that I come to classes there, and I come to pray, and I come for Shabbat dinners, and on Yom Kippur I'll go to the University of Pennsylvania's Chabad or the Drexel Chabad with friends, and it really has been a very big impact. I also have this wonderful little Shabbat lighting candlestick that Chaya gave to me, and it really inspires me to make sure that I'm lighting my Shabbat candles every weekend. It's something that even if I'm not home, I'm really interested in starting to keep Shabbat. And once my work is not going to be until the time that Shabbat starts, I'm going to be starting to do that too. But no matter where I am, I take candles with me, which is another thing that we get in the Shabbat. We get candles with a picture of the rabbi. And I take candles with me and I'll light it wherever I am, just making sure that I do light my Shabbat candles. And it really opened the gate for me to be a lot more concerned and interested in being within religion and being around people like you guys. And so it really have changed my life. It's not an exaggeration to say that it changed my life completely.
Wow. So
Wow.
I just want to end off with a story and then some lessons that I learned from this weekend. Um, Basically, my great grandmother was Itehen Yachain, and she was sent out by the previous Rebbe, the Frierdiker Rebbe, to Paris, France, with my great grandfather Yosef Yehuda Chaim, and they came to the Rebbe for a private audience, and she said to him, "Rebbe, I I heard this story. This story I heard directly from um, Rabbi Glebkovsky from Kfar Chabad, Israel. It's really important to share where you got your information from." Um, and he let me record the story. And he came to the Rebbe, like our Rebbe, and she said, "I only got one person to light Shabbos candles one time." So the Rebbe said, "One time to light Shabbos candles is a lot. Even one time is a lot. It's a sach," he said, which means a lot in Yiddish. And she was not so satisfied. But let me tell you what happened from that one candle that she got one woman to commit to lighting. She didn't commit to light for life, just one time. Her son, my great grandfather, started learning bar mitzvah classes with him. Today, that son is a religious man that lives in Kfar Chabad, and he has many, many grandchildren and great grandchildren who are religious, like a huge, huge family. And the other daughter, the other daughter is married in Crown Heights, and has a huge family in Crown Heights. And that was just from one candle from this grandmother, the mother of this family that lit candles. And it just trickled down, and you never know the actions of one time. And don't underestimate one time and only one time I did this, because you never know how far it will reach. So I just want to give a little hardcore to types of people that were part of this story. First of all, Hashem and the Rebbe, that were very much part of this happening, because I believe that voice came from above, 100%. Invite them to your house for Shabbos, invite them to your house for Shabbos. And thank God I listened to that voice and trusted my intuition, because it's really not my style to invite strangers to my house for Shabbos. I want to thank my dear husband, Izzy, for being okay with inviting my stranger friends to my house for Shabbos, even though he wasn't up for it that week. And it changed our life that week. I wanted to say thank you to um, the Schputzes. I want to say thank you to Sabi and her husband Rabashkin. I want to say thank you to Hindi and Betsy and Rosie, Hindi Levinson and Betsy Rabashkin, and her husband Yassi Rabashkin, and Shalom Rabashkin, and Rosie Wolvovsky, for being so welcoming and having us for Shabbos. It was such a memorable Shabbos Friday night, and it was in honor of um, Chani Mendel Sputz's birthday, and they share the same birthday, my husband and him, like the same week. So it was really, really extraordinary, and it was a really big gift to the world that we got to do this. I want to say thank you to Shane D. Jacobson for invited us to the JLI for Bringen. I want to say thank you to Shana Basha Mintz, who invited us to the incredible Malava Malka at Oli Torah of the JLI. And I want to say thank you to her amazing husband, Rabbi Ephraim Mintz, for being so welcoming and welcoming in my guests to his event, and also welcoming me, which was really, really special. So a few lessons that I learned. You are a shlucha wherever you are. Just because you're not on shlucha somewhere in like a hick town or someplace exotic, doesn't mean that you can't spread light. Anywhere you are, you could spread light. And that was my lesson that day. Always trust your intuition. Like if something feels right, do it. Listen to positive voices in your head, only the positive ones. The negative ones throw away. But if something positive comes your way, it means there's something that you can do. When a mitzvah comes your way, don't turn it away. And you never know who watches you. So I didn't know that they were so inspired by me. I was just being me in my house, like really, like lighting Shabbos candles, talking to them after the lighting the candles, telling them stories, telling them my personal journeys. I wasn't trying to change them. I was just trying to be like nice and be inviting. And you never know the effect it has on someone. And another thing is, go out of your comfort zone. You never know where that would lead you. Be your best self. And also, um, it's really important. This is what I learned, is not to tell people what to do, but to show people what to do by your actions. So if I would have came and said to Ella, like, you really shouldn't wear pants, like it's not the neighborhood for it, like she would have probably been turned off. But I didn't do that. And I let her be herself, and I let her grow on her own. And I accepted her for who she was, and I didn't judge. And you shouldn't judge people just because they may look different than you, but you should inspire them by you being your best self. And by doing that, you will inspire them even more. And like I had a voice in my head that said again, like maybe she was not comfortable going to shul, and it turns out I was right. So I listened again to that voice, and I was so excited that I got to give her this dress that didn't fit me anymore, but it was a fabulous, amazing, gorgeous dress. So I was so happy that she got to wear it. My husband's like, "Hey, that looks familiar, but it looks so good on her." And I'm like, "I know." He was like so blown away. And you never know where this will take you, and never stop spreading light. You never know who's going to appreciate it. I had no idea the Tanya class was being opened by so many people. Like, always pay it forward. So again, the most important lesson of this is not to tell people what to do, but show them what to do by your actions, because it has a much higher effect. Like if you want someone to be someone, you be that person in the most authentic way, and it will register much more than actually asking people. Like, I didn't ask her to light Shabbat candles. I gave her a candle that Mrs. Sternberg was there. Like, that was from Mrs. Sternberg's the candles. Mrs. Sternberg is someone that's a amazing speaker in our class, and she is the founder of the, with the Rebbe's guidance, of the Neshek campaign, the candle campaign. And at first she didn't want to take it, Ella, because she's so gracious. She's like, no, no, it's yours. I'm like, no, I really want you to have it. And it's not what you give, it's how you give it. And because I gave it, I had no idea it's going to have such an effect that she uses it every day. I forgot that I gave her the candle. So again, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And it's really important not to like throw, you have to do it very, very slowly. And my intention was just to give them a nice Shabbos. That was my intention. My intention didn't go anything more than that. And the fact is that at the end of the Shabbos, when Meirav told me that Ella wanted to keep Shabbos, I just had tears in my eyes. I was like, wow. So this was my proudest moment this year. This is a big birthday for me this year. And I believe that Hashem's going to give me a lot more opportunities, but if an opportunity comes your way, don't push it away, because you might not have that opportunity again. And I probably wouldn't have had this opportunity again. I probably would never have met them again. But because I trusted my intuition and invited them, now I have these amazing friends that are like family. They're awesome and wonderful. And I went with my Rav. She came to Kern Heights, and I went with her to get a mezuzah. She wanted it, and I was like, "Hey, can I chip in? I wanted to be part of the mitzvah." And she goes, "No, this is my thing. I want to do it, and I'm gonna pay for it." So I was like, "Okay." I respected that, and it should bring you a lot of merit. This mezuzah. Mezuzah is protection, and everything we do is protection, bringing light into the world. The Rebbe said that when you light Shabbat candles, it brings mazel to your life. And the Rebbe was very encouraging of lighting Shabbat candles from the age of 3. And so a lot of people say it's not our customs, but it actually is our custom, meaning it's our custom. It got lost after World War I. And I interviewed Mrs. Sternberg on this. She did a whole research paper with all different Hasidic sects from around the world, like different people that keep different laws and minhagim. And she did a lot of research after this whole thing. So I'm going to post that on the chat that everyone could watch it. But it's our custom to bring in light into the world from the age of 3. And we never know who we can inspire. So everyone, I hope you can learn from this story. And thank you so, so much. And thank you to Meirav. And
Thank you.
thank you, Ella, for
You
being the
for
best.
sharing.
And may we continue to have many more beautiful memories together. And I hope you'll come back soon to New York.
Definitely, definitely, definitely.
Let's
Now
make it
we
happen.
have a family in Crown Heights, and
We do.
you have more family in Israel.
True. True. I feel it, and it's amazing, and we're in touch always, and it's just really, really special. And sometimes, like, you meet someone and that's the end, but it's not the end with us, and it's really special. And I want to bless you and Ella and your whole family, that you should have everything that you want in a revealed way, everything that you ask Hashem, it should be granted in such a clear way. And your uncle should be well, and he's so proud of you. And please thank him again from me for meeting us. It was very, very special. So have a beautiful, beautiful rest of the day. We're on all different time zones. And thank you so much for making my birthday so meaningful by sharing this story. And I hope you guys all got inspired. And you never know the power of just one little action, what it can do.